Hey guys, Dave Ramsey here. I'm here with the COO of Churchill Mortgage, Matt Clarke. And Churchill and Ramsey have had a long 25 plus year relationship of helping people with their mortgage decisions, their real estate decisions. And it's crazy out there right now. So we're getting a lot of questions coming at both of us in the mortgage world and in the Ramsey world both. And we just wanted to sit down and take a minute and kind of work through some of the FAQs, if you will, the frequently asked questions that are hitting our inbox out here. So the first one is, with houses selling so quickly in some markets, what should people consider should people consider a for sale by owner rather than paying an agent a commission?
You know, when I look at that question and I think about my own situation, I'm not the expert at everything in my life. So I have to surround myself with people who are. I think that's part of winning in not just life in general, but particularly in real estate. And so my advice would be to always find a qualified agent to work with you when selling your house, because they're not only going to help position it for sale better, market it better, they'll get more for your house than you will on your own, to where you don't look at that agent commission that you paid to get it done with regret.
Yeah. When I was 16 years old, I would lay over the front of the car and put a 9/16 wrench on the distributor and adjust the timing. I don't work on my own cars anymore. Have you looked at one of them? Oh my gosh. You know what? I don't pull my own teeth either. And I don't even do my own taxes. And I'm Dave Ramsey. I know something about money. So here's the thing. DIY in the middle of a market like this is a really dumb idea. Anybody can sell a house. The question is how much money you left on the table. How bad did you screw up the contract? Did you write a contract that was going to close? Did you properly deal with the buyer? A monkey can sell a house in this market. That's not the question. The question is how much money you lost in the transaction because you didn't know what the flip you were doing. This is not amateur hour, okay? This is the time to put a pro in your corner. Don't pull your own teeth, don't do your own taxes, and don't sell your own house. You're leaving money on the table, much more than you'd pay that poor little agent that's going to make a little money. Now, don't get a beginning agent that's never done it either. Get a pro, somebody that really knows what the flip they're doing, that sells a whole bunch of houses, high octane, high protein, knows what they're doing. You want the best of the best in your corner. This is a weird time, and it is not time for somebody your cousin who just got his license to sell your house for you in this weird time. Your cousin doesn't know any more about it than you do. He just got his license. You're the only difference. You need a pro, knows what they're doing, walks you through this. Big mistake to go for sale by owner in this kind of world particularly. That's one. All right.
That's one.
Prices so high in some markets, is there value in spending the time and energy to try to find a foreclosure or a short sale?
I would say, why not? I think the more you can research, the better decision you make. And there are plenty of options out there. It just takes time. I think in markets like this, when things are crazy, we try to get a solution really, really fast, when what we really need to do when the market is crazy, not also be crazy. That means slow down, take your time, investigate, do the research, find as many options as you can so you can choose the right one.
Yeah. Buffett says he's greedy when others are cautious, and cautious when others are greedy.
Like that.
And that's a good way of looking at this and thinking that through. Now, a short sale occurs when someone sells a house for less than the value of the mortgage. With prices having gone up 32% in 1 year, probably not out there. That probably doesn't exist, that the house is worth that much less and has to be sold for less. So short sales are probably mathematically not many of them. Foreclosures, there's a huge backlog that's starting to come onto the market because they quit foreclosing during COVID.
Yeah, forbearance.
A whole bunch of forbearances, a whole bunch of moratoriums, and now they're starting to cut loose. And these mortgage companies that were doing a handful of foreclosures a month are now bringing in wheelbarrows of them to start, and we're going to see a flood of that hit out there for a while. Now, what's going to happen when that happens? Well, the good news is that's going to be some supply to the market, hopefully, and that we need that. But the truth is, too, those foreclosures are going to sell. We're in a hot market, and if they want to sell them, if you're getting foreclosed on, you can sell the house. And now you have to, where before they weren't doing anything to you.
Right.
But if they start foreclosure, that owner is going to put that house up for sale, and it's going to sell. And it might not be a bargain. It might be just one of these things out there that people, just because it says foreclosure doesn't mean bargain. The math tells you if it's a bargain. So I have people, I bought a foreclosure, great, and you paid more than retail for it. That does. So what? So yeah, there's going to be some out there, and there might be some deals. And yes, go look. Always go look and be turning over the rocks, see what runs out. But I don't think you're going to see a ton of them because the market's still so hot. I think they're going to sell pretty fast, or somebody's just going to stand there. Now, I mean, obviously, if somebody just abandoned the property, walked away, and it literally is going to the courthouse steps at a bargain, there's probably going to be a few people there to bid on it. So you work it, look at it, but it's going to be an unusual market for foreclosures because we're in a very, very unusual market. We're going to see some interesting things coming up. Next thing that comes up is first-time home buyers. What do they need to be thinking about in the current market?
They need to be thinking about some discipline in terms of what they can afford before they enter into the market, right? When they go looking for houses in a market they can't afford, they're all of a sudden going to see a bunch of homes that they love. And when they look at markets they can afford, they're going to see some homes that they don't love relative to the ones in the markets that they can't. And so I think it's so important to have a disciplined plan. I think it's important to have your get pre-approved, not just pre-approved, but fully underwritten, a certified home buyer for Churchill Mortgage, so that when you're going to shop, you've eliminated a lot of the questions in the process. But for me, it's discipline, and it's not so much about where you buy a home, but that you get into home ownership and you do it properly.
And you guys at Churchill have a great first-time homebuyers program, right?
We do. We have a lot of resources for first-time homebuyers to walk them through step by step how to do it, what to do, what to look for, and how to be prepared.
And get certified for the loan.
Yeah, we fully underwrite them ahead of time. So we have what we call the certified homebuyer program, which allows them to shop without the question of being approved. And we lock in their rate, which is particularly important during these rising interest rate times, for 90 days with a float down option. So if rates go down, they get to take advantage of that market shift. But if they don't, they're protected if rates go up.
Yeah, and that's a really, really good idea because it gives you the information if you're a first-time home buyer of what you can actually afford. And do that before you go shopping. Because let me just tell you, if your budget is a used Honda, and you've been test driving Bentleys, it's going to be hard emotionally to come down out of that Bentley and drive that used Honda. And it's okay to start with the used Honda if you're a first-time home buyer. That's not a bad idea. Or used Toyota even. That'd be okay too, Or maybe even an old Ford Taurus. I don't care. But, you can't afford a freaking brand new Mercedes. And if you drive a brand new Mercedes, a brand new Bentley, and then you have to end up so don't go shopping for houses that are going to end up $100,000 more than your budget. That's ridiculous. You're setting yourself up for emotional disappointment. Don't set yourself up. Figure out what you can do, then go into the market. Now, at Ramsey, we always tell people put 20% down, and that avoids PMI, private mortgage insurance. And to do a 15-year fixed where the payment's no more than a fourth of your take-home pay. Because our goal for you is to get completely out of debt, house and everything, because that's the shortest method to becoming a baby steps millionaire. The shortest, fastest method. And so that's the direction we want you to go. Now with a first-time home buyer, we've always said if you don't want to do the full 20% down, then 5% down, 10% down, something like that's okay, but you're going to take on that PMI and make sure when you're working with Churchill that you understand what the rules are on getting rid of that PMI as you pay that mortgage down, because you're going to want to get rid of that. That runs about $75 per month per 100,000 borrowed. Is that about right?
Yep, it does.
And so, you're borrowing $300,000 or $400,000, $200,000. That's a lot of money that's going to be going out, and it's simply foreclosure insurance that pays the mortgage company if they foreclose on you. It does nothing for you, nothing. So PMI is not a good plan for you. But again, if you can't quite get the down payment together in this market and you want to go ahead and enter the market, we've always slacked up a little bit on the first-time home buyers. But the whole idea then, the reason we said that in the first place, is get you out of debt. The more you put down, the less payment you have, the faster you get out of debt. So that's the whole plan. Those of you that aren't first-time home buyers, don't you dare buy a house without 20% down. That's just silly. That's just silly. You are overbuying, and you got the fever. That's all you did. Slow down. Slow and steady wins the race. All right. As an empty nester, should we consider cashing in our equity on our current home and downsizing? We'd likely be able to pay cash for the next home. Sure. As long as it's a house you like.
Yeah.
And but go shopping before you just decide this concept. I mean, go this is what we're going to be in, this one right here, and that's different than this one. And so there's nothing wrong with that at all. But again, you're selling in an uber high crazy market, and you're buying in an uber high crazy market. You don't get to sell in the uber high crazy market and then get a bargain on a foreclosure. That doesn't happen in this world, okay? So you can't use that as your plan for, if that's the only way your plan works, you got a bad plan.
A lot of people, what we see are happening now is they're selling in markets that are more expensive and moving into less expensive markets where they can retire, pay for cash, and retire more comfortably than they otherwise could. And so there's a lot of that geographical movement right now, taking advantage of the home prices the way that they are.
Yeah. And the last question we get, and I think you work with a lot of different real estate agents around the nation. I know we do with our Ramsey Trusted ELP program. What's your perspective on pricing a house low to drive a bidding war? I wouldn't.
I don't like it. I think it's hurtful for the real estate market right now, because especially people don't like, offer price becomes a suggestion. And I think with the right real estate agent who's a professional, they know what the home's worth, they know what the market's going to pay, and they're going to price that home really well.
Now, I wouldn't overprice it. What I'd do is try to figure out, have them do a competitive market analysis, a CMA on it, and price it at what you think it's worth, maybe a little bit of a premium, and then let the bidding begin. As you said, it's a suggestion these days, and start the bidding. I've known plenty of people that did that, and they get 40, 50, 60 offers in 3 days, and then they pick and choose through those, the one that has the best terms and the best pricing and everything, and they get to do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to start, a $900,000 house to start it at 800 to bait the hook. The hook's already baited, okay? The market's doing that for you. So I wouldn't mess around with that. I would just price it. Don't overprice it. If the CMA comes in at 900, you want to price it at 9.25 or 910 or something, that's fine. But if you drop it down under that, you're just inviting trouble, and you're going to get a bunch of wackos in your lineup. So you want good, solid people bidding on this thing, not people who were brought in for the wrong reasons. Right. And I would, you can do whatever you want to do, but that's how I would handle it.
Seems like it's a waste of time for everybody, inviting people that really can't afford to buy your house anyway coming through the process.
Yeah. It's foot traffic through the house we just don't need. I love it. All right, Matt Clarke from Churchill Mortgage. Thanks for hanging out with me, brother.
Thank you, Dave.